Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. With me today is Joe Zagorski, the Global Product Manager from BlackRapid. We're here today to talk about the new Nikon strap. What was the name of that again, Joe?
Quick Draw and Quick Draw S. There's actually two of them.
Very good. So he has some questions, or I should say, I have a lot of questions for Joe. And I've been working with Joe, and I've been using my BlackRapid strap forever, probably about 4 years or so. I've had my BlackRapid RS7, and I absolutely love it. I cannot live without it, and that is no joke. There is no hype there. My regular neck straps are gone. They're put back in the boxes. I just love my BlackRapid strap. Anyway, how you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing great, and thank you for your kind words of praise about our products.
No problem. Tell me a little bit about WPPI. How was the show? I know it's right at the end here from 2014.
WPPI here in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. The show's great, very well attended, and one of the nice things about the WPPI show, everyone here's very much in the professional sphere, so they've already got a good understanding of the industry standards and the gear that's already been out there for years. So an innovative product like BlackRapid, we're very welcome here because we're relatively fresh face on the scene, but at the same token, we've been around for 5 years now. So there are a few people who know about us. We also get a lot of fans who just stop by our booth and say, "Hey, what's new? I'm here to see you guys. What's up?" So
like me, I do that all the time.
Yeah, it's a really fun show, and although it's busy, it's well attended. The show hours are 10 to 4. You can't beat those hours.
Yeah, nice and short and gets it out of the way. So,
that's right. And then everybody goes out and, I guess, drinks and gambles in Vegas.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what Vegas is for, right?
That's right.
So tell me, how did Ron originally come up with the idea of a sling strap?
Yeah, Ron Henry is the founder of BlackRapid. He's the inventor of the product. Ron was a wedding photographer, and he hated having the camera hanging around his neck. He didn't like having it on his shoulder because it would slip off. So he would just take off the camera straps. And that meant, he's shooting with two camera bodies. He'd leave one on a table or have to put it on the ground when he's getting shots. I think he just kind of got disgusted with not having a good way to carry the camera. And, well, like a lot of great inventions, he had a need, he fulfilled the need, and had the business sense to turn it into a successful brand and a successful product.
Very good. You mentioned that. I don't know if I've ever told you a story or not before, since we've met each other and seen each other so many times over the years, but I actually got rid of my tennis elbow because of my BlackRapid strap. I, again, was disgusted with my neck strap, hated it, and so I would carry the body around all day long, and that gave me tennis elbow from up and down all the time. And then about year and a half ago, 2 years ago, my chiropractor actually said something to me about it. I said, "Well, what's going on with your elbow? Has it been better?" I'm like, "Wow, I completely forgot about that." And it took me a couple days to think about it and process. I'm like, you know what? Ever since I got my BlackRapid, it's no longer been a problem. So that I'm very glad about that one.
It's good news, and one of the really fun things about trade shows like this is I talk to a lot of people every day, and some people it's their elbow, some people it's their shoulder, especially with the over 40 crowd, it starts to be their neck. We've talked to people who've had surgery on their neck because of carrying a camera too long, and BlackRapid kind of removes all those problems. So I'm glad it helped you, and we're not going to send you any bill for that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Where did the name BlackRapid come from?
BlackRapid was thought of by Ron Henry, the founder of the company, and Ron wanted a cool name. He's based in Seattle, so he's in touch with the hip crowd. He thought BlackRapid sounded cool, and that's how we went with it. Obviously, Rapid works well with our product because you can use your camera a little bit more rapidly. But BlackRapid together, that's Ron Henry.
Very good, very good. Next question: how many have been sold? Is any kind of a number you could throw out there?
Tons of them. Well, you got to remember we're a global company. We've been doing international sales since 2009. So I can't give you the exact number, but I can tell you it's really in the 7-figure range or high 6 figures, something like that.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, another question I just thought of is, how many different countries are they sold in?
The exact count varies. For instance, Egypt was on the list until not so long ago. Okay. So the list changes, but we're definitely at well over 50 countries, wow. Something approaching 60, 65.
Okay. Does the product vary at all in different countries, or is it pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same. We've talked about localization, and that's something that we believe could work, okay. Especially with colors. You know, some colors will go better in one place than another, or something like our women's strap doesn't necessarily translate into some other countries. But at this point, it's a global line, and pretty much everybody in the world has the same access to the same products.
Okay. How about yourself? I'm guessing you live in Seattle by the company. Is your background in photography too?
I am based in Seattle. Spent a long time in Asia, more than a decade. Okay. But definitely all-American boy, living in Seattle now. My background is not in photography. I've always, well, ever since high school, I've kind of had interest in it. Mm-hmm. And I've always taken a lot of pictures, but to call myself a photographer, it's not fair to photographers.
Well, that's nice of you. I appreciate that. Do you do anything with the R&D, or is it just sales?
Trick question. Okay. BlackRapid is a small company, and I get a lot of road time. I talk to a lot of customers. Some of those are business-to-business customers. Some of those are end users, everybody in between. Mm-hmm. So because I talk to so many people, I can gather a lot of feedback from customers, a lot of feedback from users. So although I'm not directly part of the R&D team, I do contribute to the process by bringing in some feedback from outside the company. And I'm also always eager to test our prototypes. So sometimes I'm involved in testing stuff at an early stage. Okay. But the truth is, most of my time is spent concentrating on sales.
Okay. Well, very good. Speaking of sales, I'm sure this new Nikon strap deal is going to be really big for the company, and I'm glad to see that you guys are working with them. Who approached who? Did you approach Nikon, or did Nikon approach you?
Nikon, well, let's put it this way. We had a mutual friend. Okay. And he kind of talked to Nikon. He said, hey, I'm kind of sewed up with this company, BlackRapid. Do you know anything about them? And then he talked to us, and he's like, I know you guys are small. Would you guys be interested in working with one of the camera manufacturers? Okay. And, of course, we were interested. Yep. To say that we sought Nikon out, probably not accurate. And likewise, I don't think Nikon was out looking for us. Yep. But you could also say it was love at first sight because, of course, Nikon is one of the most influential brands in photography historically and specifically in the photography market right now. Yep. And so for us, it's really good to hook up with a larger brand like that and not only share in their brand equity, but also be part of, well, their historical process. And for them, they saw an innovative new product, and so obviously they were attracted to us too. Yep. I think love at first sight is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's cool. One thing you mentioned about Nikon being so influential, in a conversation I just had not that long ago in one of my Keep Shooting Monday shows, I actually talked about how it seems like there's so much more press when a Nikon flagship camera comes out or a new Nikon camera comes out in general, versus a Canon, versus a Sony, versus anybody else. I think the only camera that even comes close from Canon is the 5D series, but it's crazy the difference there.
It's a good observation, and I kind of have the same perception. I don't know if that's because Nikon kind of hits it out of the ballpark with marketing or because they have a strong fan base that's just enthusiastic, but I feel the same way. I really hear a lot of buzz when Nikon moves. I mean, obviously Canon's working hard at it, and we all see their brand everywhere. Yep. But from my perspective, I agree. I seem to feel a little more buzz when Nikon does something.
Yeah, but the other thing is about Nikon is you know, they're a camera and optics company versus Canon, who does cameras and optics and video and imaging and copiers and
printers and yeah.
You know, they have all this stuff that they do. So, you know, they're a much bigger company, where Nikon is the, you know, the smaller niche. So tell me,
I can't help but think part of the attraction there is the people who've been shooting for, I don't know how long, 30, 50 years, whatever. They can still take their Nikon glass and put it on their new Nikon cameras.
Yep.
And I think maybe that helps build up some momentum. I'm not an expert on that part of it at all, but from my perspective, I think maybe that could play into it. You get some people who've been, you know, their father shot with a Nikon or whatever it is.
Yep. Well, as they all say, I think how I know how this goes. The first lens for a Canon was actually made by Nikon.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, the very first lens was actually Nikon glass, or the original, not the actual name Nikon, but it was like
right.
Nippon Kangaku or whoever the previous name was back in the late 40s, early 50s. It was, so they actually made the first one. So
yeah, they were probably the only game in town at that time.
Probably. So how long did you guys spend developing the new strap with Nikon?
Well, it's almost a trick question.
Okay.
Like developing the straps, we're experts on straps. So for us, it's like you kind of say it and we can start working on it.
Yep.
But with Nikon, there were a lot of considerations because they're a much bigger brand and we didn't want to get swallowed up by associating with a big brand. So a lot of the development process was actually talking about the ins and outs of the business proposition. How would it work for the Nikon side? How would it work for the BlackRapid side?
Okay.
We spent a lot of time making sure everybody's key concerns were addressed.
So it's more about numbers and business rather than the actual specs of the strap.
A lot of that. Okay. And I have to say they were really good to work with on that. Many times they said, yeah, I get it. You guys are making sure that you're not going to get run over in this huge legacy machine of the Nikon brand. At the same time, we are a small company, and for us to bring our production process to Nikon was very educational for us because they have extremely strict quality control and quality assurance standards.
Okay. Their
testing process is exhaustive, to say the least. Wow. They're very thorough, and I was impressed. Okay. And it didn't just stop at the development. Like every step of the way, from early development, testing, pre-production, production, and even in the post-production part of it, there's a lot of quality control processes and a real concern towards not just making a quality product that consumers will like, but making it in such a way that you are not, spreading hazardous waste or destroying the environment or anything like that. They're really environmentally conscious, and that wasn't a problem for us, but it was something where we had to develop some process or some structure inside of our company to even be able to assess, evaluate, and report on those sorts of things.
Okay.
So although the actual production and development of the strap, that's easy for us.
Yep.
But then all of the sort of background or substrate, that was a real educational process for us. And I think it's made BlackRapid a much stronger company. It's helped us all the way from the start of our supply chain all the way to delivery to the customers. It's been really good.
So you said it was like 18 months or
2 years.
2 years. So it was a full 2 years. So 2 years ago, you started talking about the business stuff, and it's finally come to fruition. That's a long time to spend.
You better believe it. You know, there were several times when I'm spending a lot of time working on this, and some question marks are coming up. It's like, are we even going to be able to pull this off? Because some of the reporting standards are quite stringent, and but when it got tough, they kind of helped walk us through it a little bit. And I have to say, looking at the product and I think the final result, I think it was worth it. And like you mentioned earlier, I believe that the sell-through and the brand equity benefits for BlackRapid, I think that's all going to be win-win on both sides.
Definitely. Definitely. I would definitely agree with that. Who is it manufactured by? You guys or Nikon?
The manufacturing is all us.
Okay.
No doubt Nikon are manufacturing giants. They do great with optics, electronics, pretty much anything they try. But I haven't really seen Nikon doing soft goods. I don't even know if they have the capacity.
Okay.
And for us, it was a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, all we got to do is meet your design standards and plug it into our existing supply chain. So, like all BlackRapid products, the Nikon strap is produced in Taiwan, and the whole supply chain up until delivery to Nikon, it's all BlackRapid.
Now, were you guys working with the Nikon Japan or Nikon USA, or where's your primary contacts?
Nikon Japan was our contact.
Okay.
They are managing the whole ordering, and we deliver directly to them, and then they kind of separate it out and send it to the regional offices. Okay. In fact, we don't even have much contact with the regional offices for this project.
Okay, so the regional is really more about just distribution and sales, and that's it.
I would have to add marketing to that list, but yeah, I think the regional departments, well, really what they're probably going to be doing is localizing it, making it fit their supply chain, making it fit their distribution chain, making it fit their local customers' habits and sensibilities.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, I'm glad that you guys were able to work together. One more question about the Nikon strap. Are the two of them compatible? I know you guys have the fastener and the little clip that clips on. Will they go back and forth?
The regular BlackRapid strap line is compatible with all cameras across the board because it connects to that tripod socket. And that also holds true for all Nikon cameras. It's all quarter 20 tripod socket, and the Nikon strap, although it's heavily labeled with Nikon, also has the quarter inch 20 thread on it. So theoretically, you could plug it into any camera. If you look at the press release that Nikon put out, it may look a little bit different because there's a triangular black piece attached to the hook. Once consumers get the product in their hand, they'll realize that that black piece is actually clipped onto the outside of our standard connector hook.
Okay.
So the Nikon project has all of the hardware of a regular BlackRapid strap and an added-on lock star and an added-on redundant safety tether. So it's almost like a bundle effect.
Okay, that makes sense.
Totally compatible.
Very good. So tell me, what's coming in the future? What can we expect in the next year, 18 months, 2 years from BlackRapid?
Our focus is definitely on making life easier for photographers. The R strap, that's a big deal, and I think it's starting to get out there and everybody knows about it. A recent new product from us is Lens Bling. Those are rear lens caps labeled with the focal length, so that if you've got several lenses in your bag, you can differentiate them easily. For us, that's the trend we would like to continue in. 2013 was a good year. We had some good new products. Lens Bling, Yeti, a new women's strap, the Kick. 2014 is going to be even bigger. We've got some real game changers, and I don't want to spill the beans on the new products, but I can tell you that we're going to have a summer release of some long requested and something that's a departure from our regular straps, but it is also a camera strap. And then in the fall, based around Photokina, we will also have, again, I don't want to spill the beans. I can say amazing new strap, totally new hardware setup, and it's going to up the stakes a little bit.
Very good. One question about that one. Is it going to fit the big guys?
Yes. You know, one of our goals is to make it anybody's goal when you're making a product is to make it so it fits the widest segment of consumers possible. So when we size stuff, we do try to keep it, like 95% of the population can fit it. But you know what? You're not the only one who's over 6 feet tall. And I would have to say, at the very least, I know the one that we're releasing in October, be great for the big guys.
Okay.
The two that we're releasing in the summer, they should. But before I give you a definitive answer on that, I would have to revisit it and look at the prototypes. I think they should fit, but it's a concern that we should always be aware of. And like I said, you're not the only big guy out there, so we haven't forgotten about y'all.
Definitely had a number of people ask me which strap it is that I wear and what the combination is. And I always say, if you're a big guy, you got to go with the RS7 and the bird extension, and that's what I use all the time with mine. So, last question is this, and I didn't tell you this one, and this one's coming just out of left field. I've got a really cool accessory idea, but I'm only going to give it to you if you'll name it after me. Will you do that?
Are we going to call it the Cazillo?
Either Cazillo or Kazillions. Either of those will be just fine.
Okay, I will give you my word as best I can, keeping in mind that all those decisions are not up to me. But yes, I'm in your corner. If you give us a good idea, we'll call it the Kazillion or something along those lines.
Very good. Okay, well, hopefully we can actually make it happen, and maybe we can get it released sometime in 2014. So we'll talk about that after we end this, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so consumers should be keeping their eyes open for the Kazillion, huh?
Exactly. Cross our fingers. Cross our fingers. I'm not even looking for any money. I just want it named after me, and that's it. You guys can keep all the profit.
You just want the fame.
I just want the fame. That's it. I want the name out there. That's it.
Fair enough.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Joe. I really appreciate it. Anytime you ever want to do another interview, please let me know. Give me a call. If Ron ever wants to do another interview, I'd love to do another one with him. Any final thoughts or comments?
You know what, Greg? Funny you should mention that. We always love to talk to you, whether it's on camera or off. Did you know that BlackRapid also does a podcast? Maybe you should kind of do a podcast with us. I think you'd be a good candidate.
That sounds good. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so, after the interview or whatever, let's kind of touch base on maybe, heck, I don't know if we come to you or you come to us, but I think a podcast is a great idea. And yeah, like I said, it's always a pleasure chatting with you, and I'm happy to.
Very good. All right, so I think that is it for today. I'm going to ask some more questions, hopefully in the future, for a future interview or that podcast. So thanks, everyone. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. See ya.
Thanks.
Keep shooting.